Welcome to the first ever episode of Fun with Disney Star Wars figures. Let me just do a quick flashback to show that I'm originally part of the OG. And here's a photo which I've just put up on the screen, which is me back when I was a young kid playing with my original Star Wars collection. So it shows, not just jumping on the bandwagon, I was an original collector. And then you can probably see behind me, now that I'm switching back, is that I collect them now as part of an amazing background, hopefully. But it'll give you a bit of an idea. So what we're going to go through today, well, I thought I'd start with something that people can actually still collect, because it's great to go with the older figures, but they've kind of already started going out. And I'm going to be talking about the Star Wars vintage set. You see them typically as the retro ones. So some of them you can see behind me have got the retro stickers. They're the ones that show you that they're kind of showing the old original 1980s ones. Okay, so let's just quickly get straight into it, because we've got a lot to go with. So Mandalorian, you can probably quite easily collect the whole set. So I'm going to start off with, I think, probably the easiest person that, again, has their own show. So I'm going to put it in front of me so hopefully you can see that first one. She got her own spin-off one, and, it wouldn't be fair without saying, okay, let's have a little look. I would say unbox, but, I think a lot of people on the stream would probably say, I don't want to see them unboxed. So what I'm going to do is just put that one down, and I'm going to show you that actually the figurine actually fully out of the packets with the traditional little holes on the bottom, so you can mount them. And then, of course, you can see here we've got the two lightsabers, which are in there as well. I'll just move it back so you can still see the full 3D thing, and it's it's a bit movable, but really I think there's a limited amount of play in those. Now I wanted to just give you a bit of a size comparison, so I thought what I'll do is I'll actually add myself on here. So I'm not wearing this outfit today, but I will do on the next one, but just again to show you kind of the size difference. This is myself as a in my Return of the Jedi outfit from when I was on Endor, and holding actually I think it's Han Solo's pistol as well, and incorrectly so wearing the correct ears, which again you can get from the Disney parks. So that's just a bit of a comparison. I'm not going to tell you how much these ones, if you want to have a guess how much it is, on the comments below. But you would have probably think, well, this is also the series where we saw this little fella, and again probably give you an idea of size. It's very tiny, and has very limited movement in the play in that one as well. So very small in comparison, but it gives you a bit of an idea. So I'm not going to go through each one of them, because I want to just give you a bit of an idea for which of the figures that maybe you should focus on, which limited edition ones can you look out for to try and collect as well. So let me get into some of the first ones that I've got to my right. So, again, a bit of the Boba Fett series spun off as well. This is a great one to start collecting. You can see here there's a little bit of rip on here, which is a bit of a shame for the sticker. But the book of Boba Fett obviously is an entire collection that you can go off and do today. Again, I think that's the great thing about starting with the Mandalorian, is there's so many spin-offs in there, and there's so many characters that you can kind of you can discover, I suppose. So let me add that one to the collection at the bottom. But yeah, so let's just quickly go into some of the other characters that are in there, maybe less known characters. So the first one here, you probably can remember. I think it's got one of the coolest helmets. I actually have that helmet. I should have put it on actually today. I'll probably put it on the next episode. But yeah, a great, also a great character within the series. The next one along, again, a classic. It's funny because when I started collecting these again in the 80s, this was a character that you could get, and it was a lot of fun to play with because the head would spin around. This is obviously the one that ended up saving them from that shootout. So again, great character. Also a little bit back to the original Star Wars collectors, which I'm going to show you in a second what some of those look like. Again, we got another Mandalorian, which is the Mandalorian himself. A great one you obviously have to kind of get because it's kind of core to the area. What you'll realise with some of these is that they actually have the description of where they are. So you'll find that there's 5 or 6 of the same one. To the normal eye, you can kind of think, well, you know, I've already got the Mandalorian, but actually the Mandalorian in various different guises. Some with the, you know, where the helmets can be taken off, some which they can't. If anyone remembers this gentleman from some of the other movies, he's obviously quite well known. Again, a great collection. You know, the guy who was the boss, who, you know, he was betrayed by. So again, another great character to collect through the series. Now, obviously, some of these characters, you know, like the Birdman. I'm going to say that because of the Breaking Bad reference. But, you know, this guy, obviously legend as an actor, he does really well. Obviously plays quite a good bad guy, especially in the scene where he's got the tanks blowing everything up. You know, he definitely, if those have seen Better Call Saul, you know, he's very good. And also, you know, he's obviously been in some of the games, Xbox games, as a kind of a cartel boss. So, you know, again, very colourful character. Everyone, you know, remembers this lady as well. You know, I think part of it is the earlier series, depending on, you know, how much of a fan with The Mandalorian you are, there'll be certain characters that resonate more with you than others. And I think that's kind of important to collect the ones that you really like. And then, of course, there's some which you'll be like, well, okay, yeah, I remember that person, but I don't really remember them, you know, enough to want to be able to collect. And sometimes you might say, well, actually, I'm doing this because, you know, I wanted to collect the whole series, especially with the vintage series. You know, you can do things like the vintage black and some of the other ones. Again, not a massive fan of those ones. Again, this little guy, well known, this, you know, character, again, key to the storyline, but again, small, you know, you might not really want to bang for buck, really want to go for this guy. But again, these just gives you a bit of an idea, and that's, but, you know, there might be ones that you kind of go, well, yeah, absolutely, I need to get this guy, and they come with more accessories, right? So you can see in here, you've got the actual container which he goes around in, and, you know, him plus the actual Mandalorian might be a great place to start when you're trying to collect. Again, I've just kind of showed you in kind of comparison just how small, this one's a slightly different version, but how small he can be. So, you know, you're probably going to find that not only as a choking hazard, but, you know, it's a bit of a, you know, it's probably not as much of a figure as some of the other characters. Now, I'm going to kind of do the last couple, and then I'm going to show you also some of the vehicles and stuff that you can collect. Obviously, they typically, you know, release these, well, in once a year you get a batch of new ones. And then, you know, the harder to get the ones that are maybe 5-6 years old. Then you get some limited edition ones, which I'm going to show you next. And some collectible ones, the carbonized ones. And then you move into kind of the ones that are really rare, which... these aren't rare. I've just given you, just finalising them off. You can see another one with actually the helmet that comes on and off, which I think is really cool. And then, of course, you've got the armourer, which is kind of the core bit around the Mandalorian kind of armour, which is part of the journey. And obviously him taking his helmet off and be disgraced. So... again, some great ones to collect. You know, what I don't like about these generations is they don't actually have the list of all the original the characters that you should collect. So it's actually quite hard to work out which ones you're missing. And they give you a bit of a sample of which ones you could collect, but they're not in the same series. So that makes it quite difficult. So like I said, you know, let's look at some of the what you're looking out for some of more of the limited ones, and I'll put them under here so you can see them in a bit more detail. But this is the carbonized ones, right? And so these ones you can see in the corner, you know, these ones, you know, they do fetch a little bit more for premium sometimes. because they've got the sparkling backdrop, and you kind of think to yourself, well, if I collect this now and take it out, then the rest is just a piece of paper, which you kind of want to keep hold of if you are gonna open it up. But probably these ones are more collectible, I would say, over time. And then you've got the other one, which is another trooper, which again is a great one for collectors, I think, to kind of go after the carbonized ones. They just look a little bit more, I'm not going to say valuable, but more unique, I suppose. So, I think this is definitely one thing to do, is to go after the carbonized ones if you're a proper heavy-duty kind of collector. So let's just quickly put them underneath, and then what we'll do is we'll open up the first, I'm going to say, unboxing, which I am actually going to do an unboxing, because I guess the whole point of these is that you may want to actually play with these, and make scenarios, or recreate scenes from your favorites, from your favorite programs. So definitely these two I think are really cool. I really like them. Again, they've just got a sample selection on the back of those. Ironically, these ones are actually in the same generation. I think the carbonized collection. So I'm too sure one's the Armory, and then Moth as well, which I'll definitely keep an eye out for. These are really cool to finish off the collection. And then let's get the one that came with the Mandalorian for this one. So the good things about these play sets, what I find, is not only they give you some backdrop to set up your people. So you probably can see slightly behind my head, I've got the original Ewok village, and it gives you an opportunity to kind of put your characters on them and recreate a scenario with them. The second thing, what it does is it always gives you a figure, which I find interesting, because some of the boxes you don't think they can actually fit the figure in there plus the actual item itself. So I'm just going to open this up, and then pull it out onto the thing. Hopefully it'll be the right way up. It isn't. There's a lot of sellotape, so I think if you are a die-hard collector, you really do need to make sure that when you're unwrapping some of these, that you're actually, using a Stanley knife or something, so that you don't break the condition of the box. I love the fact that they're giving you an instruction manual on how to actually, create, put this together in the first place. I'm not going to build it now because it will take too long, but I'm going to give you show you that actually the item is, comes out quite, it fits in there, and they've not bent it. It's quite nicely collected. You've got a lot of these parts which are created, the big components, some level of, warranty / guidelines. So you've got everything in the pack to be able to build that out. So I already have this, which is quite interesting. So if I have a quick look, I've got this exact same character already. This one's, obviously you can see the differences. This one's the retro collection. Some people do think that this means it's kind of partially devalued, even though it's just a sticker. But you can also see the difference with this superficial retro styling at the end. Some people prefer it like that, some people don't. Again, it's a preference thing. You'll also notice that he's missing a weapon. So you've got a weapon here and no weapon over here as well. So, even though, in essence these are exactly the same thing, you can see again there's a term underneath the top which makes these actually different. So it's quite interesting when you look at it about what the differences are within the different combinations, and I think that's what also makes it quite cool to kind of go and then start getting your collection. I've gone and done them based on my favorite series, my favorite movies, and kind of collected more or less of those. Some of them are actually harder to get hold of, like Revenge of the Sith. I've struggled with that. I do have General Grievous over here, but still really quite hard to get like the whole set at this point in time. So anyway, I'm going to leave it with there. Get a bit of an unboxing, bit of an introduction to fun with figures. You know, I'm going to go back with some more exciting ones next time, and I'm going to leave you with this shot of me with my Mandalorian helmet on. So until episode 2, I'm Jedi Jonathan, the Star Trader, and yeah, I look forward to hopefully you subscribing and watching some more of these so you can learn about collecting some of the Star Wars figures, and like I did since I was a few years old. And of course, May the 4th be with you, and I'll see you on May the 4th.